welcome to another video. Today I am showing you every book series that I am currently in the middle of and trying to get through. Well, I don't have too many, I don't think. I thought I would have a little more chaos going on here. I used to be somebody who would buy every book in the series and then read that series one book after the other and not read any other books in between. And I thought that was the right way to do it in the past, but now that I have read more books and I'm realizing how I like to read books, I know that that is not the way that I like to read series anymore. Now, I just buy the first book in a series. If I end up liking it, I will continue to buy the rest of the books or read them as I go, buy them as I go. And I've learned to actually love that way. And then I read books in between the series too, so I'm not getting overwhelmed with one series at a time and I can take a little break. Because before I was always worried that if I didn't read every book in the series back to back, I would forget everything that happened, which I still do forget most of the stuff that happens in books. I won't lie and say that I don't forget. I don't know, I think the way that I do it now is just better for me, and I honestly don't forget too much. I don't forget as much as I thought I would. With that being said, now that I don't buy the whole series and read the series back to back, I do have quite a bit of series that I am in the middle of. So I am going to show you those books. Starting off, I'm just going to start with books. Where do I want to start? I don't know. I'm going to start off with, I don't really know how to categorize this, but I guess I'm not just going to give it a name. I'm just going to show you the books. But the first one is If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nallen. The second book, I believe, comes out in January. I think it was supposed to come out sooner than that, like around this time, but it got pushed back, and I believe the second book is just in one of our characters' point of view, which is Finn. I'm very excited to read his point of view, so I guess it's technically going to be the same story, but it's just going to be from a different point of view, which isn't really a series, I guess, but it is just another little spin-off book of this one, and I love this book, so I'm excited to get into that, and it just goes along with this one, so I figured I would put it in this video. Second, I have Ready Player One. I read this years ago and I loved it. This is such a good book. If you have not read this, please read it. If you don't like sci-fi, you might have a hard time with it, but it's so worth it, trust me. But there is a Ready Player Two. I don't know how action-packed that book is compared to this one, or if it's just kind of like just a little following after the end of this book. But I still would like to read it, so hopefully I can get my hands on that. I know there's different covers though when I really want a specific cover, but I don't know how to get it. I need to do more research because I had it in my Amazon cart, but it was a Spanish version, so good thing I did not buy that one. But I still am looking for that one that kind of matches that cover. Now I'm going to go into, okay, I'll talk about this book. This isn't necessarily I'm in the middle of this specific series, but I'm in the middle of this whole book world. And the next book I need to read is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This is in the whole Shadowhunter world, which includes The Mortal Instruments. I read that years ago also, but I love that series so much, and I have not picked up any of the other trilogies in that Shadowhunter world, and it's killing me a little bit. But now I'm at the point where I want to reread the Mortal Instruments books, which there's 6 books that consist of the Mortal Instruments, and I just don't know when I want to commit to reading the 6 books again. So I would like to do that before I start this trilogy, which is The Infernal Devices. This is book 1 of that trilogy, and there's also 2 more trilogies that take place in the Shadowhunter universe that I need to still get my hands on. But I do have the 3 books in The Infernal Devices, and that is the next part of the Shadowhunter world that I need to get into. So not technically in the middle of this series, but I am in the middle of that universe, and I have just heard so many great things about the rest of the trilogies, so I need to get on it. Next, I am going to show you the series that the next book is not released yet, and this is the only one that I have right now. So it's Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. The second book is coming out soon, and I did pre-order it, so I will get that when it comes out, and I'm hoping to read it as soon as I get it. But that is Iron Flame. I think this is called like the Imperium series. I think it's going to consist of 5 books, so unfortunately we have to wait quite long in between these books. But when Iron Flame comes out, I'm going to be on top of that, and I'm stoked. I know everybody else is too. We're almost there. We don't have to wait much longer. Next, I am going to do a series that I am unsure about, and I guess I just need convincing if I should continue these or not. I have 2, and they might shock you. They honestly are kind of shocking because everybody swears by these 2 series, but the first is Throne of Glass. I know. I read books 1 and 2, I think last year maybe, or the year before. I think it was the year before. But I was obsessed with them. I gave them both 5 stars. But then books 3 and 4, I don't know. I just was reading them and I was slowly getting uninterested. And then this book I did DNF. I think I got like 200 pages in, or maybe only 100 some pages. And I gave up. I just quit. But this is the 5th book. This is Empire of Storms in the Throne of Glass series. There's 7, right? I guess technically 8 because of Assassin's Blade. I did not read that book either. So yeah, I read the first 4, was on this one, and just couldn't get through it. I don't know if I will pick it up again. If I do, I feel like I need to reread the other 4 books, and I don't really want to do that. So that's why I'm super iffy about it. Or maybe I'll just try to read summaries of those 4 books and then pick up in the beginning of this one again. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Next, I have Ignite Me by Tahereh Mafi. This is the Shatter Me series. I'm sure you all know that. This is the 3rd book, and I don't own any of the other books. I read Shatter Me in high school in one of my classes, actually. It was one of our book picks, and I actually really did enjoy it. And the second one, is the second one Unravel Me, I think? I'm not entirely sure. I think the second one's Unravel Me. I read that one. I don't remember when I read that one. I don't know if I read that in that class also or if I picked it up on my own. But I don't own it, so that's why I'm questioning it, because I don't know how I would have read the book if I don't own it, because I always buy my books and then keep them. So like every book I have on my shelf, mostly if I haven't gotten rid of it yet, I've read, and I know that I wouldn't have gotten rid of that book. So I don't know when I read that book or where I read it, but I did read Ignite Me, because I own this book. And I like this one too, and I just never picked up the series after that. I don't know if the rest of the books weren't out, because I know when I started this series it wasn't completed. Now I think it is. So I don't know if that's why I didn't continue it, because I was interested. It's not like I didn't like the series and I didn't want to continue it, but I just haven't picked up the rest of the books. So if I should continue it, let me know. But this is another situation where I feel like I would have to reread the other books, because my memory is just gone. It's not there anymore, and I only know bits and pieces of what happens. I guess in the first book, I don't even remember what happens in the second and third, so I definitely have to reread them, and that's a lot of commitment. It really is. I need to reread a lot of books. And it's stressing me out a little bit. If it's really worth it and I should continue the Shatter Me series, let me know, and maybe we'll get to it next year. Maybe I'll spend next year just focusing on a lot of rereads if I can knock down my TBR. That's questionable. I don't know if I can do that. Okay, next I'm gonna show you books that are series that I've started, but I don't own the next book yet, so I have to purchase these next books in order to continue the series. First up, I have The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the first book. I need the second book, which is Killer Instinct, and then the series consists of 4 books. I will buy the next book soon, and I will continue this series, but I just need to go on a little shopping spree. But that's money, and books are kind of lots of money, especially when you need a lot of them. And then I have the Addicted series. I am on book 4 now, which is Kiss the Sky, which is also the beginning of the Calloway Sisters series. So if you don't know, the Addicted series consists of the Addicted portion of the series and then the Calloway Sisters portion of the series. I believe there's 10 or 11 books in total. The first 3 are all based on Lily and Lo, and then you get hints of Lily's sisters. And then book 4, which is the next one I have to read, is the start of the Calloway Sisters, and I'm very excited about that. I actually just recently read the 3rd book, which is Addicted for Now, and I was iffy about it. I didn't really like it that much. Since the next book is a Calloway sister book, I'm happy that I'm going to start reading about them because I'm super interested in her sisters. So yeah, I will purchase Kiss the Sky next. Hopefully when I go book shopping they'll have it there and I can pick it up. Next I have the Never After series by Emily McIntyre. I have read the 4. I think I have them right here. I read the 4, but now Crossed is out. It came out recently, last month maybe. I still need to pick that book up, and I do want to pick that book up. I do want to do kind of a bigger haul for my birthday next month, so I think all the books that I need to purchase that I'm talking about in this video will be in my birthday book haul. Fingers crossed. This is a series, but every book is a complete standalone. A lot of series you kind of get characters that are from the other books, but I have not noticed any characters reoccurring in any of the books in this series. You can totally read them on their own, but they are technically still a part of a series. I liked Hooked and Scarred, but I didn't really like Wretched and Twisted too much, so we'll see how Cross goes, but I do want to pick that up still. Next we have, I think this is just called like the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. The second book is out. The third book is coming out at the end of this month. I'm waiting for the paperbacks, and the second book paperback doesn't come out till, I want to say, March. So I'm really struggling on this one. This one's going to be put in the back of my mind until that paperback comes out. But I'm also scared because I know the second book ends on a cliffhanger, and I don't know when the third paperback's going to come out. So I might just have to buy the hardcover for the third book or wait even longer to read the second book. But I don't necessarily want to do that because March is kind of a long time away for me to have a decently fresh memory of what happens in this book. The next book is A Ballad of Never After, and I have just heard crazy things about it. So I really want to have my hands on the third book before I start the second one. Okay, and then next I have Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy. I think this is called the Avalon Bay series. I'm surprised I remember that, but I don't remember anything else. But there's 3 books out. I read Good Girl Complex, and Bad Girl Reputation is the second one. And then there is a third one. It's called The Summer Girl. That is the book that I am on and that I need to purchase. But now it's not summer anymore, so I might wait a while for that one too, probably next year, but I do need to pick that up still. And I think The Summer Girl is the end of that series, so that'll be a completed series once I finish that book. Next I have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. The second one is Good Girl Bad Blood. I think there's, how many books are in this series, guys? Because I don't know, and I know you guys know because you probably know more than me. Anyway, I think there's 3 or 4 books, but I read the first one, need the second one. That's that. Hi guys, commercial break. No, I'm just kidding. So in order to film this video, I was waiting until I finished the book I was currently reading because it's a part of a series, and so I could put it in this video. Tell me why last night I was sitting in my room and I was thinking about said book, and I was like, I really wish I had the second book so I could read it. And I was like, oh, that means it's a series, and that means that I didn't even put the book in the video. So I'm back, and said book is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. This is part of the Remnant Chronicles. It's a trilogy. This trilogy it comes before The Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves, if you've heard of those. I bought those books and I didn't know that there was a trilogy before that you were meant to read, because it takes place in the same world. And I actually really liked this book. Well, I don't know if I want to say really liked it, but I did enjoy this book a lot. I do need the other 2 books in this trilogy. But yeah, I'm in the middle of this series now. And that's all I have to say. So back to the books that I actually knew about. I love my brain. It works really well. Okay, lastly, we are going into a series that I have started, and I do have the next book that I need to read in that series. So I have just 4 of them. First, we have The Poppy War. I read this a couple months ago. Absolutely loved it. Gave it 5 stars. And I am on the second book, which is The Dragon Republic. This one is a bit longer. I think they're only getting longer. And The Poppy War did take me longer than usual to read just because it is a little more intense and there's a lot you need to focus on. But I am excited to get into the second book, and hopefully I can do this before the end of the year, maybe? I don't know. But I do own this book. It is on my TBR, so I will get to this eventually. But there is this one, and then the last book is The Burning God. So this is a trilogy, and I only have 2 left. Oliver, leave me alone. Next I have, I don't know if you would consider this a series, but they do kind of interconnect character-wise. I read this book in August. This is one of my all-time favorite books now. I love this book so much. This is Kid by Jessie Hall, and this is actually the second book technically. So the first one I should have read was Hawk, and this follows the characters that are in this book, the side characters, but this technically was the first book. But it's not necessarily a series, they just do go together. So I did read this one first, but I still want to read this one because of how much I love this one, and I really like the side characters in Kid. So of course I had to pick this one up. I mean, I know Kid is in Hawk. I don't know about the other character in this book, but I needed it. I just needed it, and I need to read it. And then I have The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. The second book is The Housemaid's Secret. And then there's a third one coming out, I guess, next year, which is crazy because I don't know what happens in this one. I thought this was just going to be a little duology. I was wrong. So this will be a super quick read for me. I'll probably read this the end of October since it is a mystery. But yeah, read this one, have this one, need to read it. Simple. that's just how it's going. Okay, and then lastly, I have the Chestnut Spring series. I started this the end of September, and I am on book 3 now. I do want to get to this really soon. I wanted to finish this whole series by the end of October because I do have Hopeless now, which is the last book. There's 5 books. So I have this book and then 2 more to complete this series. But I am loving this series so far, and I am curious to see which book is going to be my favorite because I've heard a lot of people say that either Powerless or Reckless is their favorite, which are the next 2 books that I need to read. And I haven't really heard anything about Hopeless yet, so we'll see as time goes on. I'm sure I'll hear more about that book. But right now I am on book 3, which is Powerless, and I love this series, so I'm ready. I'm ready to go when this book wants me to read it, you know? So yeah, that's it. Those are all the series that I am in the middle of. I do have books on my shelf that have more books in that series, but I am not going to read them. I don't even know what they are, so I'm not going to talk about them. But yeah, that's it. If you have any suggestions which ones I should get to first, let me know. I would like to get to the ones that have completed series because I don't like waiting for books to come out because I do have a very forgetful mind. It's a little difficult when you are reading books and you forget things. Bad memory is a rough thing for a reader to have. I really need to read a lot of books. As always, that never changes. Okay, thanks for watching this video. I might do a reading vlog. I've seen people do videos where they read the next book in the series that they're in the middle of, and I love those videos, so maybe I'll do one. I don't like saying that I'm gonna do videos because a lot of the times I end up not doing it and I feel bad. So I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do one, but I will say that it is in my mind to do one. That is it for this video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for just being here. And I will see you in my next video, whatever that may be. Have a good day, and you can stick around if you want to. Subscribe, like, comment, whatever you want. See ya.